Hello, and welcome to another Silver Screen Filmmakers Club workshop. We are glad you are joining us today. The information provided to you today is brought to you by the Stage Incubator, along with our sponsor, the Indiana Arts Commission. This is also brought to you in partnership with the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence at Indiana University Northwest and Folk Art, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility Resources and Training. All right. Well, are you ready to watch the demonstration of this week's exercise? So, this week's exercise is all about creating a mind map for your short film. Now, remember, that mind map term may look a little bit familiar to you because that's one of the brainstorming techniques that we learned about in this week's lesson, all about developing a concept for your short film. So, I heard a lot of you out, and some, you know what your concept is, you know what it's about. This would just help you to further organize those ideas. But for those that don't, those that are still trying to flesh those things out, I want to encourage you to use this exercise to sort of hone in on what you're going to create your film about. Because trust me, when you all start filming, when it's time to roll in those lessons, they're going to be quick and fast paced, and you're going to be already, ready to film. So I want to make sure that you're really prepared to do so in an organized and efficient way. So if you have any questions or if you have any doubts about what you're thinking about actually doing your film about, one of the things I always encourage people to think about, number one, what are you passionate about? But number two, just look around your home and even look around outside of your home in your own backyard. Look and see what captures your eye. It could be nature itself, it could be the seasons, anything of that nature. If you're passionate about a certain, a social issue, that could be a great premise for a film. So I want you to just keep those things in mind as we go through the exercise today. Now, in my instruction before, I went through to show you an example of how, I came up with an example of the time traveler, and I utilized that for my example for showing you a mind map. I'm now going to show you sort of how I broke that process out. And when I created the instructions for this exercise, I also put those examples in that exercise so you can see how everything was divvied up. But the first part, let's start with step one. We're going to open up the Canva Mind Map template. Now, I'm going to send you the instructions in your email that will accompany this video. But also, if you don't, want to utilize that method, you can also just log into your Moodle, go to your portal. We're going to module 4, and then you're going to go to the Create a Mind Map for your short film exercise. When you click on that, the page opens up, and you have, of course, when the exercise is open, and the actual exercise, brainstorming techniques exercise. And this is all about mind mapping. Now, you have a couple of things. One, the objective of this is to visually organize your ideas and the connections for a short film concept. So this is your short film. That's what this is about. Now, you're going to download the template by clicking on that on the following link. That template says Mind Map Template for Assignment. That is what you're going to click on to open up the template. Remember, when we've gone into Canva before, I've told you just choose a template. Well, I've created one that has various options for you that you can use. This second link here is create a mind map for your short film instruction download. So if you don't download the instructions out of the email, you can always go right here and click on the download there, and it will be downloaded to your computer. Now, if you click on that, it will open up for you, and you'll be able again to follow the instructions. But what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to the Mind Map template so I can show you how this works. Once you click into this, it will open up Canva for you. And as you see here, it says a template created by Gretchen Sip was shared with you. Start designing now. And this is the mind map. The first step of writing is thinking of an idea. It is important to first gather all the details and concepts that you will use in your film before you start to film your movie. Before filming your movie. So jot down all your brilliant ideas and use this mind map. So we're going to go right down here to the purple button and use template for new design. When we click on that purple button there, it should open up here. All right. So once we click on that button to open that up, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename this because now you have a copy of my template. I sent you this template. You have a copy of my template. So here, up at the top, there's two ways to name it. You can go into File and see where it has copy of film concept mind map. You can click on the pencil there. The other way you can rename is to go right here where you see the title, copy of film concept mind map. Click in there, and I'm going to name it for these purposes G SIP mind map. Okay, so your instruction says to rename the template your name mind map. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, let me walk you through this. This first part is just a cover slide to give you some instructions, brief instructions. Now, this second one is an example of the mind map that I created in the presentation deck. Okay, this is an example of it. Okay, so you can look at it, and I want you to take some time looking at it. One, you see characters, plot points, conflicts, settings. So those are your main categories around your central concept here, time travel. And then off of each of these, we branch out into the different subcategories, the different, sub branches. And you can go further or you can go less, okay? Part of this is organizing your ideas, but I want you to get some practice, with Canva, copying and pasting and reorganizing things. All right. So now you see the sample. Now I'm giving you 3 different options here. Okay. Mind map 1, this is one option. So say for instance you don't want to mess with these boxes, you can then utilize this. If this is easier on your eyes, you can utilize this sample here. And all you would do is click in there. Again, I'm going to use time travel. I'm going to say time travel adventure. Okay. So that is my main concept. Now, of course, I don't need the second line. So I'm going to delete that. Okay. And then I'll make sure that it's centered. I know it's centered because I see these purple dash lines here. And you want it to be dead center. So, and I want it to be central in the circle. So I make sure the purple lines center it with the circle. Boom. Time travel adventure. That's my concept. Now, I put in here like plot. So I need to make plot points. I have setting. I have characters, and I like conflict, so I'm adding that. I could put theme here, but I don't need this other one, so I can delete this. If I don't need this other topic, I can just select it, select it. I selected both of them by hitting the shift key and then hit delete. Delete the little purple behind it and the arrow. I no longer need it. Okay. So that way, now I have my areas. Now, say for instance, I want to move this up. Now that I deleted that other one, I'm going to move theme up. I'm going to select everything with dealing with theme. So I know the word. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to hold down my shift key. I'm clicking on this little pink color shadow. I'm going to click on the text underneath it, holding down the shift key. Don't let up on the shift key. And then I'm going to click on the arrow that leads you there. So now that whole area is selected. And I'm going to move that up just so it gives me a little bit more space to work with, right? And then now I can grab this arrow and I can, tilt it a little bit so it fits in. I can select the word theme and the color and the text and put them right there, move them in better, just to make sure it's visually appealing. All right, so now I have these areas. So now I have character. I'm gonna move that in just a little bit there. So now I can start to utilize this. Now the font is small. If I want to make the font bigger, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the area. So I'll click on each one of these here, holding down the shift key, and I'm going to go to the font size, bump up the font. Okay, make it a little bit bigger, right? And now it looks a little crazy. So you adjust your boxes. Don't have it looking crazy. Adjust your boxes by spreading them out so that the text is not scrunched together. Go to each box, do the same thing. You want to make sure that you are grabbing each element, spreading out that text so it doesn't look crazy. You want it to still look visually appealing. Now here I'm moving plot points up just to give myself a little bit more space. And that's what I'm saying. This exercise is all about getting you used to, moving things around in Canva, but also for a practical reason, which is, hey, you need to get this part done so you know what you're going to create your film, concerning. So I know my characters. For this example, my characters will be my protagonist. So I'm going to type that in, protagonist, colon, and my protagonist is my curious time traveler. Okay. And then, did I spell it right? Sometimes I can spell, sometimes I can't. All right. And then I just hit the enter key and I'm going to add in the wise scientist, their supporting cast member, wise scientist. And then I'm going to add in my antagonist. I'm just going to type in antagonist. Now, I can come back and give him a name later on when I do character profiles or things of that nature, but I'm going to just type that in for right now. So, those are my characters. Now, let me go to my setting. And the other part is, now that I have that in there, I'm going to select the word protagonist and go to bold. So that way I know that's my, sort of titles there. And this is when you can play around with this, but also because you're going to utilize this. So make it where it's easy for you to follow along. Make it where it's easy for you to manipulate and do what you need to do with them. All right. So just going on the setting, I'm just going to show you a few samples here. So settings, I know that for my primary location, my main setting is future city. So because they are it's about time travel adventure. So they're going into the future. So my future city. Now my second area or setting would be ancient Rome, and third would be parallel universe. Okay. Now I have some visual details that I can add for each element. So for my future city, I can add in I can add in advanced technology. So that is a visual detail that I want to add. So almost like a sub point. Now I can also add, say for instance, for the future city, I'm gonna call it time uh time Tatria. I don't know, I just made that name up. But that's gonna be the name of that future city, Time Tatria. And they have this advanced technology. Then for ancient Rome, I am going to utilize historical landmarks. That's going to be the visual there. So, historical landmarks. And that's telling me this for the setting and the filming that I'm going to do. I will tie in I will tie in historical landmarks to make sure that the person knows, the viewer knows, okay, this is when they're in Rome. They're in ancient Rome because they can recognize the landmarks. Versus in the future city, they see this as advanced technology. Now, let me add another element to this because I have these 3 points and I have sub points, right? In this one, that means I can create bullet lists, right? And so I selected all of them and I went up here to where it says list. Now, in order to make, say for instance, advanced technology move in more, I will select advanced technology and then I'm going to go to, hold on, let's see here if I can do it here. Didn't mean to do that. Should be, I want to go back up. So I can hit the tab key. So I am going to also go to historical landmarks, click right there in front of historical, hit the tab key, and that moves it over. So I know that's a sub point. Now you can only do this when you have a bulleted list already. So you will select or click in front of the phrase you want to move over, hit the tab key. That's how you do that. And now we have our, you know, we have our branches and our sub branches, and then our sub branches. So that's how you can do or manipulate that. So that's the first mind map. If you want to use that one, great. If you want to use this one, this is mind map 2. This is the one I used before. Now I have a few extra instructions here. If you use these instructions and you don't want them you don't want them in your page, you can just click on this and delete it piece by piece. And then you can make this completely bigger. Or, because now that this is your template, you can utilize the one I've already created up here. I won't stop you. It won't do me a bit of difference as long as your work is in there. Okay? So if you don't want to mess with this one and make it bigger, the reason why I'm giving you this, I wanted you to have the instructions because part of it is you can right click on the background of the slide or on the thumbnail below for the option to expand this into a whiteboard. What that means is when you want to expand it to a whiteboard, you would literally, hold on, to expand it to the whiteboard, you right click on the background. So I have it selected. I know this is selected because it has this purple border. I'm going to right click. And when I right click, this menu shows up and it gives me the option to copy style, paste, comment, or expand to whiteboard. When I expand to whiteboard, see now it's made it bigger for me. This page is now a whiteboard and it's changed the way it looks. It changes its position and it makes it a lot bigger for me. Does that make sense? So we can have more space to move around and you have grid lines. Okay? Just giving you that option. And it encourages you to do a mind map therapy, marathon. So set a timer, 15-20 minutes, go, put as much in as you can. How you change these or add these, you would literally hit you would select it, and then you can drag a line. If you hover over each of these items, it gives you different options. See that? If I hover over the arrow, it puts another box there and shows me. Now, if I go on and click that arrow, it's going to put the box there for me. But if I don't want that box, select it and oops, you just select it. You want to make sure it's just selected, and then you can tell it to put it in the trash, or you can tell it to duplicate. I'm going to put it in the trash. I don't want it. Okay, so now I don't want it. I want to make sure I remove everything that was with it, including that extra line. Select it, delete. Understood? So this one is, I put some sort of macros in here so that it will, it can be a quick process or not, but it gives you plenty to play in. All right. So that is that one. Now, if I don't want to be in the whiteboard anymore, right click again on the background, right click, and then click collapse whiteboard. And it takes me back to the way I was. Okay. And then this is the last one that you can use. Now I use this one, I put this one in because it's a simple one. If you want something that is visually simple, again, you have your main points here. So your mind map central idea, again, time, travel, adventure. Now you see, because my font is so big, it's made it super, you know, complex here. I'm gonna select it and get that font down. I'm gonna take it down to just a 22. And when I take it down to 22, it brings it back to my box. Okay, but you can make these fonts as big or small as you need them. Just make sure that it's visually appealing, it's clean. It's a clean, mind map. And then I click in each one of these. I want character. I want settings. I want plot points. And I want themes. Okay. So, and then from there, you see sub-branch, 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 more arrows, sub-branch, sub-branch. And you just select on these and add each different thing. Now, we're done. We've completed our mind map. Let's go up to this one here. We completed our mind map here. So I only want this one. This is the one I worked on. Now, say for instance, you couldn't fit everything on this one. Say for instance, you couldn't fit everything on this one, and you needed to go to a second one. You're expanding, or you want to pull out each one. So you have your characters, and you have your character small list, and you want to break this area out more. So, but you don't want to start from scratch. You can duplicate this page. I go right above it here. I can move it up, move it down, hide the page, lock the page, duplicate the page, or delete the page. I'm going to duplicate the page. So when I click on duplicate the page, it duplicates the page, everything on it. So then that way I could just go on and get rid of the items I don't need, or I could say, for instance, I only want this about characters and plot points so that I have more space to break out each item. I can delete the rest of the ones that I don't want and then start to break them out with more sub points. So it is really up to you. It is at your freedom. Now, when you're complete with your mind map and you've only, utilized one or how many ever you utilize, then we make sure it's saved. We know it's saved by going up to the little cloud. It says all changes saved. Then we're going to go to share. And this is what I want you to pay attention to. Because we're not downloading the whole thing, we're only downloading the one we used. For this one, we're downloading page 3 because that's the one we used. Now, you will look and see which one that you worked on. If you worked on page 4, that's the one you download. Worked on page 5, that's the one you download. Okay, whichever one. But for us, we're doing page 3, Mind Map 1. That's the one we worked on. So we're going to click on Share, then go to Download. Now pay special attention to me. I want this as a JPEG so we can upload it in the Moodle. We're going to go to File Type. We're going to go to JPEG. Okay. Now, we're only going to choose page 3. So we need to deselect the other options. Now, the easiest way is to go deselect or unselect all pages 1 through 6, and then go and select page 3. I scroll down, I see page 3. This is the one I want. I click on that, select it, hit done. Okay, and then I hit download. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Go to JPEG, then where it says select pages, click on the arrow. I want to make sure that I'm choosing the one I want. So now I'm going to choose another one. I don't want page 3. So I'm going to unselect current page so nothing is selected. See, no boxes. And I'm going to choose example mind map page 2 because that's the one I did. Select that. Page 2, that's the only one I want. I click on done. It's there. I double check. It's there. Page 2. I make sure it's a JPEG. Perfect. All right. Now I'm going to click on download. And as you see, it's downloading. And it's downloading for me there as well, my downloads. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back into my Moodle. So let me go back into my Moodle account. I'm going to type in my Moodle. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to sign in as myself there as a demo. All right. And so I'm going to go back to my course, Silver Screen Filmmakers. Open up my course here. It's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. Now I'm going to go back to where we were in Module 4. I'm going to scroll down to Module 4. Okay, see Module 4. And now I'm going to go to Create a Mind Map for your short film. Click on that. And then I'm going to scroll down, click on Add Submission. And then, of course, I see all my exercises here. And then I'm going to attach the file, add, choose the file. And it's example mind map because that's the name of that mind map that I had. So I'm choosing that. I'm going to make sure that I save it as gzip mind map. Okay. And I'm going to select upload this file. I wanted to save changes. That's what I wanted. And then, of course, remember, in order to submit it for it to be graded, it has to be submit assignment. Okay. I had to confirm submission. Hit continue. And now it is done. It's submitted for grading. You want to make sure it says that. Submitted for grading, and it says done. That is how you get credit for the class. So now we have walked through the exercise. Now, of course, there are more pieces. I didn't go into detail in each element, from characters to settings to plot points to themes, but you want to make sure you go through each thing. For each subcategory, add more specific details and examples. You can also use color coding to differentiate between the categories. Blue for characters, green for settings, whatever you want, whatever color code you come up with. Adjust the mind map so that if any other areas need more detail or clarification, you can do that. You can add new branches, categories, rearrange them. Again, like I showed you, you could duplicate a page, spread it out, make more, whatever you need to do. Finalize your mind map, ensure all key elements of your short film concept are represented, and make any final adjustments. Then download that mind map as a JPEG and upload it, okay? I want you to be as creative as possible, wherever you feel you need to be. Now, I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for joining the Stage Incubator and viewing a part of our digital literacy series. We really appreciate you being here and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at thestageincubator@gmail.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Again, we want to thank our sponsors and our partners, the Indiana Arts Commission, the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence, and VOCART, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility, Resource, and Training. We hope to see you at our next session, and stay tuned for more things to come.